In this video, we're going to talk about how to take an IDW file like you're seeing on the screen and turn it into an IPT file, which is the part. First thing I'm probably going to look at is what is my overall volume. So if I'm looking for overall volume, I'm going to look for the big numbers first. And those should be the outermost numbers. So if I'm looking here, this looks like a 4 inch by 4 inch square. And then I need to look at the depth to see how much to extrude it. This is a section view, and if I look at it, it's not really telling me the depth. It's telling me the depth of, there must be a cutout or something here. The depth is over here, so it's 0.375. So I'm looking at a square that's 4 by 4 by 0.375. So I'm going to start a new part. And the first thing I do is get into sketch mode, and I always will recommend that you pick this XY plane. It helps you out later on in establishing the front views. So I'll start there, and I'm going to take a rectangle. I'll start drawing, and I'm going to hit the 4, and then I'll tab over and press the 4 again. And then I'll come over here and zoom out a little bit. So there's that square. Now I'm going to go ahead and extrude it. So I can either press the E key, or I can go to 3D model and hit extrude. And if I remember correctly, it was 0.375. Yeah, 0.375. So I'll go back now and change this to 0.375 and hit OK. So what I've got here, I've got my overall volume of that shape. So a few things. I'm going to look back here now, and I can kind of tell by the isometric here, there's a big hole in the middle. There's kind of a cutout going on here, this square cutout. I mean, it's a depression. And then there's 4 circles. Okay? So I always try to get the big stuff out of the way first. So I'm going to go ahead and knock this circle out. So I'm going to first want to know what the diameter of that is. So if I look at this view, it tells me the diameter is 2 inches. And it's through, so that means it cuts all the way through, which I could see through the ISO, but sometimes they're not always there. Now the other important key though is, where do I locate the hole? So the center mark, the little plus sign running through here, it is 2 inches from that edge and 2 inches from that edge. So essentially I've got a 2-inch circle that's dead center of this square, right? So I'm going to go back in here now and start my next sketch. I'm going to just put a circle in here. And this is a 2-inch circle. And now I'm going to dimension it. I'll say from the center to the edge, that is supposed to be 2. And from the center to another edge, that is also supposed to be 2. Okay, and then I know, because it cuts all the way through, I can just go in there and I'll just click the through button. And it'll cut on through. Okay. Now the next thing, or it depends on how I want to look at it, but I know that there are 4 circles. So there's 4 holes in the corners. And I know it's depressed in there a little bit. So if I look, looks like from here to here, so this little lip around there, it looks like to be 0.125. It also looks like from the top to this lip here is also 0.125. So I'm going to make the assumption that it's that way all the way around. I don't really have to assume though, because I can do some math over here too. I can see from here to here, if I take 4.0 minus 3.875, I'm going to get 0.125. So I can go ahead and just say, all right, I'm going to start a 2D sketch here on this. And I'm going to draw this rectangle around. Now there is an easier way to do this, and I'll show you that in another video, but for right now, I'm just going to say from each edge is 0.125. So 0.125 here, and I'm going to go around the entire square here and do that. 0.125, and from here to here is also 0.125. Now I need to go ahead and cut that, but I need to remember how far. So when I cut that, how deep does it go? And that's when I come and I start looking at this view. Or these views rather. This is the front view. It's not really going to tell me the depth that I need to know. So what I'm looking for is the depth from that red right there to that red. and this view doesn't show me. This view just gives me the total depth, okay, because we couldn't dimension to a hidden line. We put a section line or a section view in, and it tells me that depth. It says from the top to right there is 0.25. So I know when I go back here now, and I'm going to go to extrude, so 3D model and extrude, I'm going to click that, but I need to make it to where it cuts, and it should only cut 0.25. And I hit OK. So there we go. I've got the bulk of that done. Now, if I remember correctly, there were holes in all 4 corners, though. So let's take a look and see if we can get some info on those. So the first thing I'm probably going to try is to find the diameter. So if I look, it tells me right here the diameter of that is 0.25. So it's a 1/4 inch circle, okay, and it goes through. And it says all, which tells me that all of these circles are the same. So what I want to do now is figure out how far away from the edge is that thing. Okay, so the nice thing is, this drawing's, it's dimensioned a little wacky, but it's there. So from this edge to the center of that is 0.5. Okay, so now I'm going to look for, from here to the center, from the top edge to the center. Doesn't really give it right here. If I go over here, though, it tells me again that it's 0.5 from the center to that. So I would say that all of these are 0.5 away from the side and the top, and they are a 1/4 inch. So when I go back in here to the drawing, I'll just start a sketch. And I'm going to go ahead and I'll draw a circle here, and that's supposed to be 0.25. I'll go ahead and draw one here, 0.25 as well, and 0.25 as well here, and then down here again. Now I'm going to go and just dimension those. So we set from this edge to the center should be 0.5. From the top to the center here should also be 0.5. So then I'm essentially going to go around the square again and go from center to the edges and put 0.5s in. So I look here, and this is going to be a 0.5, and from center to this edge will be a 0.5 also. Those were a little bit off when I placed them the first time. So another 0.5, another 0.5. Oops, got to double click it. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and just cut them all together. So I'll extrude I press the E key. I'll click cut, and then really extrude our circles. There we go. Then I'll just hit the through all button and hit OK. And that should be the part, but let's confirm. So we look good there. Let's make sure that we're looking good here. So it looks just like that. That's good. And I've followed all of these dimensions, all these numbers. So you can see that there's quite a few numbers here, but really I took the overalls, the overall dimensions of that, and then I wanted to get the depth so that I could extrude the original. Truth be told, I could have made all of these circles at the same time. I could have made these 4 circles and this circle all at one sketch and dimensioned it, and then done the cutaway, the square cutaway here. I hope this video helps out. Thank you.